Hello and welcome to the Diva Days for Lives. This is Carrie. There we go. At Diva Joel on Twitter. Marianne, unfortunately, is in University Hospital, so we're hoping she makes it out soon. But
Yep,
you never know with University Hospital things.
that's true.
Let's hope Lexi doesn't come back from the dead and try to be her doctor. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
She wrote Tony off pretty quick.
Yes, she did. We have Jenn here tonight.
Hi, I'm at RXJDK at Twitter.
And at an undisclosed location in the Witness Protection Program with Anna.
Yes, I'm at Kazi Hooch on X and Instagram. And that's all right.
Well, do you want to get through with us how far you made it with the Kate stuff arcade update for Friday?
Yeah, I didn't get to see all of Friday yet, but the part I did see, Kate was sitting in the waiting area at Salem University Hospital sucks. And I mean, did I say that out loud? At University Hospital. And she was reading the manuscript, the 50 Shades of Stephanie's Imagination
Yeah.
a manuscript and doing some edits. And of course, she leaves it right there on the chair when she goes to leave to look at. Well, first of all, she's reading that, and then Anna comes up and surprises her. And so I always forget that they have grandkids. They share grandkids. And I remember them talking about that when they first found out that Carrie and Austin were going to have Noah. But anyway, so she comes up to Kate and they talk, and she was saying how sad it was about John, and then Kate was pretty. I thought she'd be friendlier to Anna, but she really played it pretty close to the vest there. She was pretty tightened up on that, but then Anna also recognized that Philip was. She said something about Philip being sent out for tests, and she was just waiting till he got back in his room. And she goes, "Oh, that's right. Sorry to hear what Philip's going through as well." That was Anna. And then so they had a little bit of a conversation, and then when they came back later to their scenes, Anna was being her typical kind of snotty,
Oh boy.
snarky self, little passive aggressive self, which I love. But she was saying, "Oh, and Tony and I got to be at Noah's graduation before we headed back over here." And Kate's just like, "I don't need this right now." I mean, her son has been in the hospital. What? Can we all say this at the same time? Within an inch of his life for like seems like forever, maybe just a few days. But anyway, she couldn't, even if she had it scheduled, she wouldn't have left to go see Noah's graduation when she had a son that could die. Anyway, so Anna was kind of being a little snarky, and Kate was kind of, oh, and she said, "But I brought you, oh, and I can show you some pictures that I took while we were there of his graduation." And she was kind of going on about it like she had something over, like she was being judgy.
Yeah.
Like Kate wasn't there, but she was there. And so Kate said, "No thanks, I don't need to see the pictures." Austin sent me a video of it, and it was very nice or whatever. And Anna's like, "Well, it's nothing like being there." So I was doing some other comment, and Kate's lucky she didn't stab her with a plastic coffee, anyway, or knife or something. But anyway, and then Kate went off to see Philip and get out of the way of Anna. And then of course Anna sits down, sees that she says, "Oh, Kate, you forgot your what you were reading." And of course Kate just ignores her or doesn't hear her or something. And so Anna picks it up and starts reading it aloud. And then she's like, "Wow, if this is Kate writing this, Roman's a lucky man," or whatever. Funny. I mean, we already knew he was a lucky man. We didn't need to know about it, right? I mean, come on. But so that was the last scene that I saw then. So I don't know. Somebody wants to fill in the gaps of the rest of the interactions.
Yeah, I just didn't understand that scene. I mean, Anna can be a little insensitive, but to sit there and rub it into Kate's face that she went to Noah's funeral, I mean,
it was a little out of character for their relationship today.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was my thought.
Yeah, and the rest of the Kate stuff that you missed, and I do not understand this at all. She was at Philip's bedside, but they didn't show Philip. It's like, really, you didn't pay, Jean Paul to be in bed, and basically they showed him from like the hands down. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Are we getting a new Philip, baby? And we just don't know it?
No, he's still on the show. I think they just didn't want to pay him. So I don't know whose hand it was, but they did not show his face the entire time. Kate's vowing revenge on whoever put him there. Or Xander, I guess, really. And then I think she finds out Xander made bail. And then she's pissed at Belle. Belle, basically, she feels like Belle didn't fight hard enough to keep him in jail. So that's the rest of the Kate stuff. But I don't understand, like, really, you couldn't have had him in that scene. It just seemed kind of cheap. Yeah. So that was all the Kate stuff for the week.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, you saw the best part. You didn't really miss anything. Yeah. So, and then after Anna reads it, she lays it down, and then Amy Choi reads it.
No.
Yeah. Amy liked it, though.
Ow.
I mean, Mr. Choi might have had a good night after she got home. She might have felt inspired. Yeah. Monday was rough. Everyone's talking. They think John's going to be okay. And then he's unable to breathe. Marlena gets him to relax and start breathing. And then she basically tells him he can let go. And he dies. So that was rough. Very rough to see. And Deidre did a fantastic job, I have to say.
Yes.
She was fantastic all week. Oh, okay. All right. Anna's saying I might have problems reconnecting. No, everything I'm seeing is fine.
Yeah, we can hear
Yep,
you. It's
you're
just saying
good.
reconnecting. Just
Okay.
a heads up.
Oh, so it's like I'm not on the screen? Is that what?
No, we can see you and we can hear you.
Okay.
It's
You're
just saying
good.
reconnecting on your face.
Um,
I just didn't know if that was a warning that it was going to drop you off or what.
I don't know why I have such internet problems, but yeah.
Well, one thing that, oh, you were talking about I'm sorry, you were talking about Marlena or John passing away all of a sudden. God, that was a tearjerker.
Oh, that was rough. Yeah.
I gotta admit, it put me back to when I lost my mom, like several months ago. It was like, cause Drake passed away like 3 days after my mom did. So it was that part was kind of a blur. I really couldn't process Drake passing at the time. Because I was too in grief and dealing with everything, But yeah, I mean, there were some things that got me for sure. And yeah, just a lot of great writing, a lot of great performances, I thought.
Yeah, Deidre did a great job, especially when word got around that John had passed and people were visiting her, and it just made me feel so awkward. Since like,
Yep.
yeah, because I honestly have never done that. I have never gone to someone's house after they lost someone. Like, and she just had nonstop guests and a refrigerator full of food. But yeah, that's a lot. And, it just made me think on, how to react in the future. When, there was a lot of insensitive things that kind of happened. Paulina and Abe find out and they come over to the house and Abe's like, well, so did you plan a memorial yet? And it's like, he's barely cold. I mean, it was such a weird thing.
That bugged me. That really bugged me. I thought that was either it's trying to show what people do when they don't know what else to do.
Abe's looked really uncomfortable.
Yeah. But I think it was like you said, it was like you can kind of learn from it, and I think they were trying to do an accurate depiction of what happens sometimes to a lot of people in that scenario. And you could tell the way she reacted was just like, well, no, I haven't, like, what it irritating, like, she's like, I can't, probably thinking to herself, I haven't thought past my next breath, much less, But I will say this, it was very comforting when we had a lot of family. We had some family in town. Like, I was just thinking about my most recent loss and probably one of the biggest in my life. And, well, it was the biggest in my life. I don't know, it was really comforting to me to have a lot of family around and stuff. It's kind of like you sort of need the comfort, but also the processing. It's nice to be able to have like you're not. I don't know how to explain it because Marlena showed that she was taking time to go to her room or go be by herself, things like that, which was good when she needed to. And everybody processes shock and loss differently and in different phases. But I mean, I think a lot of times when people bring food, they realize there's going to be a lot of people coming through.
That's true.
So you want stuff, even though you don't want Marlena have to entertain them, in other words, or provide. and there's a lot of people that might have traveled and all that. So I think that's kind of like, it's sort of like just a comfy thing that, something people can do that can be helpful. Even if Marlena didn't feel like eating or anything like that, there were going to be kids coming in, there was going to be, all that. So I get that part. And honestly, we appreciated it when some of that, was brought to us, or other family brought things or whatever. So that part didn't bother me. It was just that funeral thing that really, I was like, that's a faux pas, buddy.
Yeah.
What they should have just said is, look, when you get to the point where you're ready to talk about anything logistically or anything else, you can count on us to be there. That would have been the better say. Call us and we'll be there to help you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was odd, though, that they didn't show the kids' reactions to when they found out.
Yeah.
I don't get that. Why did they? I don't know. I mean,
the first thing, didn't you feel weird that Brady had known all night and he doesn't tell his sister until she walks out in the morning?
Yeah.
that doesn't make any sense.
I mean, they did address that later in a way, by saying that Marlena didn't want to bother people till, a reasonable hour in the morning. But I don't know if in my experience, like when it's somebody that close to you or that dear of a friend or whatever, I mean, sometimes you can't, sometimes you don't even have the bandwidth to call everybody. That happens too. And that happened to me a little bit too. But I'm not going to wait for hours to tell my sibling that my parent passed away. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That just didn't seem natural to me. I mean, even though Marlena said that, I would have been as soon as Brady got home, he should have been like, hey, Belle, I don't know. I mean, Belle didn't notice that their mom was home and crying in her bedroom. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get. Because there's just no way you don't notice that both of them, your brother and your mom are upset. That's, yeah. Yeah, and then everybody else kind of found out off screen that Carrie and Eric and the only one we really saw a real reaction from was Paul, and he was pretty upset. And Paul and
Johnny.
Yeah, and Johnny, and Paul and Andrew were discussing getting married and all that, and eventually Marlena tells them to get married, and that happens soon, I think. I'm not sure if it's next week or the week after, but they do have the wedding. So, and like I said, to me, I don't care about those weddings. But I did see Shane's at the funeral, so I'm glad to see.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no Kim, obviously, but
No Kim.
yeah.
Well, they're trying to kill two birds with one stone then. Well, to get Charles Shaughnessy on set, they're going to make sure he can hit the funeral and the wedding for his son.
Yeah, and especially with Kim, they were saying she was still going through chemo, so she wouldn't have traveled anyway, I imagine. So with this all going on, Bo had a dream sequence where he sees a doll Zack, and he actually wants to stay there and not reunite with his family. And then eventually he wakes up and he's there with Hope, Ciara, Sean, and then eventually Ciara brings in the babies to see them. So I thought Peter Reckle did a good job this week because they were filling him on what all happened and told him that Victor and Doug were deceased. That was hard to watch. That was really sad. So it was kind of funny because Ciara brought the kids, but they seemed kind of to gloss over who she's married to and who the father.
Yeah. He said, well, let me ask you this. He's only been in not only, but he's been in this coma from the whole
2 years.
Well, like Sean shot him or what? Huh?
It's been 2 years.
Yeah, 2 years. But where was he before? I know he was off screen.
He was locked in the lab.
Oh, that's right. There was something with
Megan.
Yeah. So, but I didn't realize he didn't know all that he didn't even know who she married or anything. So when he said he better, so you got married. Well, he better be,
worthy.
eager to make sure that he's worthy of yours.
Wait till you find out he's a serial killer.
Oh my God.
Unfortunately, Bo and Hope aren't on that much longer. I know, and it's like we need this. We need Bo to tell his daughter, "What the hell were you thinking?" And hopefully get mad at Hope and Sean for why the hell did you let your daughter and sister do this? But yeah, so yeah, I think the sports next week. He's already talking about leaving town for rehabilitation. And I'm like,
it was so nice to see them do
Yes.
those flashbacks and stuff, and enjoyed that. And I thought the way they wrote him, like you mentioned, the adult Zach at the pub, sees him at the pub, and we realize right away, it's like he's crossing the other side, and Zach's there. But Zach's like, no, as much as I want to see you, I want you, you need to be with our family. I'll see you soon enough. I'll see you someday, again someday. So it was really like they were portraying a lot of the times you hear near death experiences and stuff, and people making whether you believe in it or not, whatever, but making the choice to go back or whatever if you have a choice. I just thought that was really sensitively done, and it was really cool how Zach went around and hugged when Hope and Ciara and Sean appeared, and like they weren't really there because it's in his in his brain, but like Zach goes around and hugs them. He's like, why can you hug them and not me? And he said something like they're not really there or something, but also something about, what did Hope say? She said something about, I don't know, it was just like, you need to come home with us, you need to be with us right now. And like almost like if you hug Zach, then you're not going to be able to come back, or something like that. You won't want to come back.
Right.
Because it'll be so wonderful on the other side. Yeah. Anyway, it was really touching. I thought that was well done.
And at the end, Sean gets a call saying that John had passed, and he tells Hope, and it looks like they're not going to tell Bo for a bit, but Bo and Hope are at the funeral, at John's funeral. I believe that's Tuesday that one happens. So, all right. So, speaking of awkward people who came in at Marlena's penthouse, we had EJ. EJ overhears Brady and Kristen talking about John passing away, and he decides he needs to be there for Belle, not realizing nobody else would want him there. It was, my God, I mean...
It could not have been made any clearer by Marlena which feelings he got there, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I have to say, I think this should be Deidre's Emery reel, because
yes.
Because she's mourning. You could tell she's devastated. Abe's saying things that are awkward. EJ comes in. She's trying not to throw his ass out the door. Belle realizes Marlena's upset, and she leads EJ. They end up down at the town square, and she dumps his ass and said, "Dad would not want me to be with you." So, do we think this is going to stick?
I didn't actually expect that.
I didn't expect that either. Now, yeah. I don't know. It sounded like it was permanent, but she's kind of dickmatized by EJ, so maybe she'll get back with
it. It won't last.
We know Belle.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got her sister, Sami, and poor Sydney. There's some reason or other she cannot leave Italy. No matter what happens, something stops.
She broke her arm and collarbone.
She's went sick. She's had a volcano, and now the little tram or whatever you want to call it in the hospital apparently grabbed her and tripped her and broke her leg. My goodness. So I don't know. I mean, I can maybe Allison couldn't make it back on the show, and that was the excuse. But yeah, poor Sydney. So Brady comes over to the mansion and wants to tell Rachel that her grandfather died. And tells Kristen, and Kristen tells him that Rachel saw Johnny with a gun the night EJ was shot. And Brady's pissed, but she wants to keep the secret to get her mother back because he feels like it's traumatizing Rachel that she has to keep this secret. So he has a point.
Yeah. For once, Brady's thinking.
He's the voice of reason. Yeah.
That's kind of scary.
But he's talking to Kristen, so she really can't be the voice of reason either.
That's true.
So, but yeah, it was kind of weird because Kristen did kind of make it seem like John dying was more about her relationship with John than Brady's relationship with that being his dad. So that was a little awkward too. Lord, Chad and Kat. Yep.
I think you can find more ways to be alive than skydiving.
And it didn't, I thought that was the point, but after it happened, basically all he did was he twisted his ankle. Like, it still didn't get him out of his funk. It's still not the impression I got that it did any good, but we had to hear about this stupid date for a month. And she said she thought Chad was like Jim from The Office. Did you guys watch The Office?
No.
I recommend it. It's funny. Yeah, did you ever watch The Office?
No, I've only seen clips all these years, and I keep thinking I need to binge watch that. I just never do. I never have.
I remember watching the first episode, and I'm like, this show is just freaking amazing. So yeah, I recommend watching the first episode. And you're like, yeah. Steve Carell is just freaking hilarious, but it was a great cast all the way around. And yeah, I didn't watch the last few seasons, but maybe I'll watch it sometime. Yeah, so they went skydiving. He twisted his ankle, and then Jack and Jenn come home.
Can I say something real quick? The guy who was doing the guy that worked for the company that was doing that was in charge of the jumps, the skydiving. He was cracking me up. Like they need to get him a job as a bartender or something. I need to see that guy.
He needs to work at a Brady pub.
He was funny. He was just like so funny. Here, Chad's a nervous wreck. The guy's like, well, Chad goes, and then he goes, okay, so he pats his left side where the starter chute is supposed to be, the real chute. And he says, so I hit this right here. The guy says something like expert level or something like that. I mean, it wasn't that, but it was funny. Whatever he said, I was cracking up. Oh, man. Yeah, that guy in his 3 minutes or his under 5 or whatever it was that he got, he made the most of it, I gotta say.
Yeah, he sure did. He was kind of trolling Chad for being such a buzz.
Yeah. Well, then, yeah. And you were about to say about Jennifer and
Yeah. Well, the thing is, too, is I know a few people who skydive. They don't send you out there the first time by yourself. You're strapped to an expert. So, yeah, I can't remember if you're on their back. I can't remember if you're on the back or they're on your back, but no, you don't. They don't throw you out. You're playing by yourself. You're always with another. Actually, I think, yeah, and because not only that, make sure the, the shoot and everything works, they know how to land properly so you don't twist your ankle. So, yeah. Yeah, Jack and Jenn, yeah, they just showed up at the Horton house, and Julie's there, and Julie tells them that Chad and Kat want to date, and Jennifer is pissed. I live for that. I think that's fantastic.
It was. You know what I was waiting for though? When Jack says something about, he's almost like defending Kat, and Jennifer calls him on his crap too about it. But he's trying to just say, I think Chad's just really lonely and all. And I so wanted her to say, you mean like when you went to Kate when I was in a coma for a year? I was so wishing. No, I'm glad she didn't bring it up, but that would have been funny. But I kept thinking, typical guy. He's thinking about.
Yep.
But no, but anyway. And also, the one thing I've been waiting all this time for somebody to say how damn stupid it was. He would pick something that's unnecessary and that could lead to his immediate death. When he's got 2 children that are already traumatized. I mean, he could die in anything, but like, why go out of your way? Just to appease this idiot. So yeah, I mean, I'm glad they were kind of like, what in the world is he doing that for? Like, I don't know if they went into it like I would, but I was just thinking when they first brought it up, originally Kat did. I originally was like, what an idiot that you're doing this. You've got 2 kids that are still traumatized from their mother's murder, and they're going to be orphaned if you. So anyway,
the house fire.
Oh yeah, everything, and their dad being destroyed, and just having so many, so and yeah, and you say Doug died, and so yes, they just had. Anyway.
Oh no, you're totally correct. Yeah, most parents wouldn't do that. Like my parents, when my brother and I graduated high school, actually my brother was the youngest one, so when he graduated, my parents went out and got a Harley. Now, they had a bike before we were born. Basically, they took 20 years off from riding before they started riding a bike again. And yeah, so because they didn't want to take any chances, so basically, yeah, Jack and Jenn are right. It's not a good idea to do that. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people who've been killed on motorcycles. I know a lot.
Yeah. Yes. Or very well badly injured. One of the two.
Yeah. And I think just last 2 summers ago, a guy graduated from high school, died. His son lost his leg.
Okay.
Yeah, and it was broad daylight. This old lady crossed the center line and hit him. And my other girl who graduated a year after me, both her parents were killed at the same time 2 years ago.
Oh,
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so it's
That was really smart of your parents to just, you know. I mean, if it was a necessary and the only transportation, I can understand somebody needing to do that. But for recreation and just for fun, even if it's something you just love to do, I'm glad that they had enough concern for you
Yeah.
too that you waited.
yeah, my friend's father got hit from behind. He was turning into her driveway, and this woman was texting and driving behind him and hit him full speed. Yeah,
Gosh.
there he was right there in his daughter's driveway.
Oh
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and she was getting married that week. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
And
jeez.
it wasn't illegal to be texting and driving, and that bitch got 2 months in jail.
Are you
She
kidding?
killed him. Got 2 months in jail.
Oh my
And
gosh.
she didn't seem the least bit sorry or repentant about any of it.
That's the disgusting part when people don't even.
Yeah, and so my friend, she campaigned for a while, and Daniel's Law passed in Pennsylvania, made it illegal to
Wow.
text and drive, but I think they went a little bit too far now. You're not allowed to text now at red lights either. Not that it's a little fun. Besides, with work, sometimes, yeah, I'm checking to see who texted me or maybe an email. Well, some of the red lights, you could be sitting there forever.
Yeah. Or backed up traffic. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, you can't text. You can't be on your phone now at all during a red light either.
Well, it's not just like texting and that. This douchebag just about had me the other day. I mean,
Oh my gosh.
I'm coming out, alright, and the person had the signal light on that they were turning into the road I was coming out.
Mhm.
So I'm coming out, and this guy flies around that person just
Oh my
having
gosh.
head on. I was so scared it wasn't even funny.
Oh my gosh. Thank goodness you dodged that
Yeah.
bullet. Oh my goodness.
I pulled over. I'm like, oh my god.
Oh my goodness. There are such idiots out there.
Like,
I watched a guy go around in a one lane each way not too long ago, and somebody was going too slow, and he zoomed past him in the wrong lane and almost hit somebody head on in front of me. And if they hadn't, or right in front of, like within my view, I
yeah,
could see what was happening. And if they hadn't been able to clearly move over without knocking somebody off the road, something bad would have happened. Either
Yeah.
yeah. That
and I
happened
just
to me.
thought, and it was weird because all of us in that group that were driving ended up at being at the same stoplight as he was in the end. So it's like, how much did you really save? That's so sad. All of it.
Yeah.
So we can all agree that Chad was an idiot.
Yeah, and this is an odd thing. Kat sees a picture of Sami and recognizes her.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, for real.
Huh. Well, was it because of Sammy's many interactions with the law and stuff like that over the years that she's lived in Salem? Maybe Kat just saw her on the news or something, or in the paper.
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling that that's probably going to get dropped. I don't think they're going to remember that. Sami's not at the funeral either, I don't think. So we're not seeing her. I think that they were saying that she'll be there for the 60th anniversary of the show. We will see. And then Julie goes and barges in on Marlena at the penthouse, and
But she didn't know.
she didn't know. Yeah. Yeah, she was going there she wanted to get 11 bars to John. Yeah, which he was, I don't think he was even capable of eating at that point either.
Yeah.
So that was kind of weird.
One thing that touched me though was before she left the house, when she first got the word about Bo being alive, she went right over to Doug's picture.
Yeah.
And was just celebrating with him, and I started bursting out crying, because when you lose someone that you love, whether it's a spouse or a parent or whatever, it's like you'll find yourself in moments going, oh, I need to call them. Wow, I'm dying to hear their reaction, or oh, this is great news. I want to, and the first person you think of is that person that's already gone, and you're like, damn. So when she went over to that picture and was like telling Doug in that picture, I was like, you know, 'cause it was just, I mean, that's why I say some of the things were really well written in terms of, you know, even when people were acting poorly, that's kind of how people
Yeah.
act sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like they actually asked the actors, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And Roman and Kayla discussed John's death and Beau's recovery.
Mm.
And that was kind of interesting because Roman was trying to say this. He said he was glad that John took care of his kids while he was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. He was grateful. That's what I'm looking for, was grateful. At the same time, too, they're getting good news about Beau. You can tell they kind of felt a little guilty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For being so happy, you know.
Yeah. I mean, that's a difficult situation to be in. And Marlene is in a rough spot, too, because she finds out Beau's recovering, and she tells Eric later that she feels a little resentful that Beau got his miracle and they didn't get their miracle with John. And Eric said, well, you're just being human. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I thought that was great because Eric was kind of the best person, really, out of everybody who visited her. Because, well, that too, and he's a priest, so he's dealt with death a bunch of times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was a good scene. All right. I forgot to mention, I know Miriam wanted me to mention, Tony DiMera will be back on June 12th.
Hey.
I was wondering because Anna was there, but I didn't see Tony, and I was wondering when he was going to make his appearance.
Yes. And I forgot this part, but Kayla gave Marlena John's things from the hospital, and she was upset that coin was missing.
Yeah.
And that she gave John.
I didn't understand that.
She put a coin in his hand.
What coin, though? A challenge coin? Try to live? I don't know. No, I know. No, not trying to make light of it. But what? I don't understand. So Marlena put a coin in John's hand. For what purpose?
I guess he gave her a coin years ago or something when she was sick.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, something
So
like
it was a throwback to
Yeah.
something.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, and so it was missing
Yeah.
from the things. So I wonder what that means. I wonder what, like,
Well, honestly, it's a hospital, and no one should bring anything even remotely valuable to a hospital.
No, not good. Not good.
Yeah, I would not expect to get your stuff back. Yeah. Especially if someone thinks that's valuable, they're going to take it. Yeah, so I mentioned the whole, Amy was at the hospital. She was at the hospital because Sophia and Tate were taking a tour of the hospital, but she's due to give birth, and Sophia basically starts freaking out. This is a lot. And, you know, Amy's in alpha mom mode, and I understand she's helping. She knows what to expect, but Sophia doesn't know what to expect. So Amy's asking all the questions and all that, and Sophia just seems completely overwhelmed.
Mm.
And her to talk and want to hurry up with getting adoption lined up. She's about ready to give birth. So it looks like this baby's not getting adopted. I think they have to keep and take care of it till it gets adopted. A lot to expect someone to be able to.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and Ari and Gabi are fighting, and I'm on Gabi's side on this. I mean, I understand. Oh, I guess technically Ari has graduated high school.
Yeah.
And she's 18, but just from my own personal experience, I was not allowed, even after I graduated high school in 18, I was still living in my parents' house. There's still rules. Still gotta tell your mom where you're at.
Yeah. Common courtesy.
Yeah, and you don't sneak out of the house. But Rafe, who has never had children, is on Ari's side and thinks that Gabi needs to lighten up. So, yeah, that's the thing. As your kids get older, honestly, you never stop worrying about them. Yeah, if they're under your roof and you look and they're not in their bed and they don't come home and they're not answering the phone, you're freaking the fuck out. I'm sorry. Yeah, Ray's being an idiot on that one.
He's always an idiot.
Speaking of idiots, Doug 3 goes to Leo and gets the necklace again. It's like, would you just let it go? Let it go.
Yep.
Why does he keep bugging Leo about it? I mean, it's just kind of interesting. Like, he still doesn't have the money to pay for it. I mean, like, I don't know. He's not making that much money at the pub, so it's like, it's not like he's already, like, he doesn't have anything he can offer the person if they find it, but I understand him wanting to make it right, but still. I don't know. Well, and that part about, like you said, common courtesy with Ari, it's like, I love it when these 18-year-olds want to assert their adulthood, and yet they still rely on you for their insurance, their phone plan, their iPhone plan,
The food.
and their food, the roof over their heads. I know kids will be kids, but I'm just saying, like, I love it when they start, like, behaving like that. And like you said, even if it was just a guest, if you had a guest from out of town staying with you and they just didn't come home, you'd be like, it was really rude as, what, for not at least texting me and saying, hey, I'm going to be staying somewhere or whatever, It's just, I don't know. I mean, like you said, it's a common courtesy. Because then you don't know whether to go on a search to, like, put out a,
Yeah, it was, basically, if you don't have a job, you're not self-sufficient. You're not really an adult yet to, when you're living on your mother's roof and you're like, oh, I can come and go as I please. It's like, no. And then there was a scene between Jack and Leo where Jack was telling Leo that he enjoys his work and thinks Leo's a good writer, and shared from his past that having an abusive father.
Yeah.
So that was kind of, to me, it was a little bit of a surprising scene.
Yeah. And he finally admitted he stole the paper.
There you go.
Finally.
Yeah, Jackson needs a reminder once in a while who old Jack was. Technically, he's done worse things than Leo has.
Oh, yeah.
So, and people all forgave him. All right. I wrote down the funeral's Tuesday. So that's going to be coming up soon. And we had Hollywood over comforted Tate too, but who cares? I don't care. Anything?
I don't care about Ari either.
No. Anything else we missed? I mean, we missed Marianne, but anything?
Yeah. Yeah. Sending the best to Marianne.
Hopefully she's knocked out, so she's in no pain.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. She's doing good. She's improving. So
that's good.
Even though she's at University Hospital, she'll
at least Dr. Dan can't touch her.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Dr. Dan knew Dr. Lexi Carver,
And
I thought Kayla kind of gave up a little quick on John myself, but I guess it was his lungs. I mean, I guess the condition that he was in and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's in a fire and there was meth and, his lungs.
Yeah, I did like the poetic nature of, John sacrificed his life basically for Beau. But one thing that was kind of sad is that we didn't really get to have the elation of Beau coming back as much because it was tempered by everybody being just devastated about, John. So I don't know. I mean, I liked the way they wrote all of that, but it was a little bit an anticlimactic thing although I love the way they wrote the scenes for Beau.
Mm-hmm.
I was a little surprised. And here's Ciara, I gotta say this, I'm not trying to be judgy. She walks in to see her dad for the first time in however long, and she's in like this fishnet stocking blouse with their black bra showing out the side. I'm like,
who's dressing?
Dad, by the way, I'm a sex worker. Nothing that there's wrong with that, I guess. But I'm just saying, like, it's just kind of funny. It's like, does she have anything normal in her wardrobe? Is there any? I can hardly wait to see what she wears to John's funeral.
Oh my God!
Right.
It'll be interesting to see who all. Oh, did you guys think there was a funny scene where they're taught before? I did love the scenes before. I don't even know if it was last week. I rewatched some stuff from the week before, so it might have been then. But when Ciara and Sean and Hope were talking about like the book, the kids were talking about the Cat in the Hat, and like talking about how their dad would make up stories and stuff and do all the animation, all the voices and stuff for the different characters, and how Sean and Ciara both loved Cat in the Hat and stuff. And I thought those were some fun, authentic sort of fun things, like when Hope was saying that she had like with talk to him the last couple of years. She would talk about to him about the news, whatever, came to her mind and what she'd read that day or whatever. And she said, and then then when I ran out of material, I would share things like I watched this documentary on Irish cheese, the making of Irish cheese, cheddar cheese, and she goes, and then I shared it with it, and then she looked all embarrassed. She goes, and then I told them about it, and they're like laughing, I thought those were really sweet, the really cute moments. I thought they were really like kind of fun.
Question: the flashback of, was it young Sean D or was that Zack?
Yeah, I was wondering that too. The little boy.
Yeah.
I wasn't even sure it was Ciara for a minute, but it was definitely a boy's room. And then I realized, okay, that's either Sean D or
it
Zack.
didn't look like Scott Golf or whatever his name was.
I'm not really sure. Maybe it was Sean D because they were talking about it. So
Yeah.
But then also it was touching how they were like talking about Zack, and they're like, maybe we should, and then they're like, and Hope's like, no, of course we're including him in this, he's always part, and it really touched me because I thought all the people that have lost a child, it's like that child's still a part of your family, and it's just, I don't know, and I loved Bo's reaction to seeing Zack and how he's like all grown up, and I don't know, I don't know, I just thought it was, I think Bo, I think some of the things were Emmy. I think there was some Emmy material in there. Yeah.
Speaking of Emmy material, Blake Berris posted on Instagram, and you guys know that I thought Blake was the best actor by far. Yeah, there was some kind of submission error, and he didn't get submitted for Emmys.
My God.
So he posted that he didn't get submitted?
He picked something to get submitted, and it sounds like whoever worked for days didn't read the rules or submit the wrong thing, and somehow Blake didn't get submitted. Yeah.
He was so good. Oh my gosh, with the dual person. Oh my gosh, I'd be so mad.
He said, I don't think I would have won anyway, but it's like, I don't know. Maybe he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
did somebody ask him about it, or did he just come out and say it?
He came out and said it on Instagram.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Well, and the girl that plays Shin, what's her, Wendy Shin?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think she had been submitted, and they had to take her, if I'm remembering correctly, they had to take her off of it because she was ineligible, because she was slightly older than, I don't, or something. There's something about, I swear it was something with her, but I don't think it was her fault. But sounds like I don't know if it was the studios either. I don't know who it was that was responsible for that, if it was her agent. I mean, I don't know. I don't know how any of that works, but yeah. But I mean, it didn't sound like it was intentional, but they need to get their acts together over there to, I mean, gosh, Blake did such a fabulous job on that storyline. And it ended way too soon.
Yeah, that was shocking. Like, I remember Doc texting me. They're like, that's it? That they killed off Everett? I'm like, yeah, they did. I found his Instagram post. Some of you may not know this, but actors submit our own reels for Emmy consideration. We sift through a year's work and try to shape something that captures the heart of the story. For my final year on Days, I took a less is more approach. The short reel I felt honored the story the writers and directors crafted so beautifully. Unfortunately, due to a mistake, which Days has apologized for, I get it, we're all human, a 12-minute rough assembly was submitted instead. They didn't submit the short reel. They submitted something that was too long. I don't know. It's like, I'm disappointed, not because I thought I'd win, but because I felt like I let down the team who gave me such powerful material. That said, I'm proud of the work and endlessly grateful to the daytime community, to the fans and my peers. Here's the reel I intended to submit, and sorry to all the judges who had to watch 12 minutes of my blubbering face. Yeah, so it's on his Facebook. He's at Blake Berris.
Oh.
Yeah, so he
needs to come back. I don't care what they do, they gotta get him back.
Yeah. Yeah, so I don't understand when I read his Instagram thing. Seemed like Ron liked him and kept bringing him back, but then would get rid of him. Like, for some reason, he was in that random Beyond Salem Christmas storyline where they had like this weird alternate reality, and he was still with Gabi. And definitely a what the F type of thing, but it's like, who cares? It's Blake. I'm glad he's back.
Yeah.
And then they kept him longer for the whole Everett storyline. It wasn't supposed to be that long. And then they just killed him off.
Yeah. Well, at the time, didn't we think it was because of Blake's schedule or something? But I wonder. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Well, he did that reading. Thank you for reading that post because he handled it with a lot of grace and a lot of class.
That was classy.
Yeah, but there's definitely a problem with days that they can't get this shit together with the wheels. This is, it can't be that hard. I'm sorry. If it's too hard, then maybe the Emmy committee needs to make these rules a little simpler. I mean, I understand they change the rules every year, but like, like the NFL, they're changing the rules every season. Yeah, maybe people need to stop changing the rules.
Yes.
Last season NFL, I kept thinking, now what are they doing? What? Wait, what? It was rather confusing. But I would think that it would be fairly straightforward, but who knows? But anyway. If you think it's something as important as that, you would double check and review the clip before you and say, hey Blake, is this the one you want submitted? Yes, okay, let me double check it before I click and send it on. I don't know. I don't know. People are human, but gosh.
Considering Days routinely gets shut out of the Emmys.
Yeah.
Maybe now we know why. Maybe none of our people are getting looked at. Because they're like, oh my goodness.
That sucks.
I wonder how they found out. I wonder if it got back that it was rejected because it didn't follow the rules or something, and it was too late to submit the right one or something by that time. I don't know. Weird.
Yep.
All
So
right.
we have more crying to look forward to this week. So yeah, we got Shane coming back. We got Tony coming back.
Yeah, they got me a couple times. I gotta admit. Ugh. Anyway.
But yeah, I felt like I was under a dark cloud the entire week. Like I was sad all week long this week. Because that's like the first thing I watch in the morning is Days because it's on at 6. I'm usually up at 6, and yeah, it was a rough week.
I binge watch on Saturday.
What I end up doing, Friday night or Saturday.
Yeah.
Today I made the mistake of going back and rewatching some of the episodes from the week before, and that put me a little behind when I got back from running errands. I was trying to hurry and finish this week. So anyway, oh well. All right. Well, sending our best to Marianne, and you guys have a great week.
You too.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Thanks. Bye-bye.